Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top reasons of why I decided to homeschool. And for those of you that are new here, my name is Giselle. I am a brand new homeschooling mom to two wonderful daughters. I have a little boy who is 4 years old who was actually just diagnosed with autism last year in October. And I'm also a pastor's wife. And apart from that, I'm just me. And I know it's a lot on my plate. The Lord has really taken me on a brand new journey in these last 2 years. And although it has been extremely challenging at times, it has just been such a huge blessing to see all that the Lord has been doing in my life and in my family. And I want to take you in that journey with me. I want to bring you in with the hopes that you will be encouraged, that you will find guidance, and that you will feel you will find support from a fellow Christian homeschooling mom. And I just really hope that you enjoy my content and that you're able to learn something new. Now, with that being said, let me bring you in to my reasons of why I decided to homeschool. Okay, well, welcome. I am actually a little bit nervous to be filming this right now. I'm also excited, but I am a little bit more nervous simply because I think that with me giving you the reasons of why I decided to homeschool, I'm going to kind of expose myself a little bit, and I would have to be a little bit vulnerable to do that. And this is going out into YouTube land, how I call it, and it's going to reach multiple people. And that's just sometimes a little bit scary, to open up and to share with strangers, or not necessarily strangers, but just you don't know exactly who this video is going to reach. So I hope that you receive my opening of my heart with grace, and that and I also hope that you can relate to it. And if you do relate to it, please let me know by liking this video so I can know that I'm not just speaking to the air and exposing myself for no reason. Okay, well, let's get started. I believe that if you're watching my video right now is simply because you are looking for resources on homeschooling. You are narrowing down the reasons why you want to homeschool, and that desire to homeschool started with a nudge in your heart or in your spirit or in your gut to homeschool your children. That is what started for me. For the past 2 years, me and my family, we have gone through a drastic change. It started with me and my husband, and this change had to do with us having to let go of something that was very, very dear to our hearts, simply because we knew it would no longer serve our family or where we felt the Lord was leading us to. With that happening in our hearts and in our lives, I began to feel like I needed to bring my children home. And I'm going to go further into it in the list. I'm not going to go ahead of myself, but I just want to give you kind of like a background. I felt like I needed to bring my children home. Not only were we going through that drastic change with my husband and I letting go of that something that was very dear to us, but we had also received a diagnosis for my youngest, my son, who's 4 years old. We had just received a diagnosis of autism, and that was it was a shock to our family, and it kind of just pulled us into this new adventure. I want to call it this new adventure, this new journey, pushed us into this new life that we never expected we would be part of. And it's honestly been an undercover blessing, dealing with my son and his therapies and just the whole procedure. You know, if you are an autism mom or you know of someone who has a child with autism, you know that that journey is such a delicate journey, yet it strengthens you so much. In this past year, more specifically, I just have felt more the strength of the Lord. And it has not been easy. It has been a challenge, but it has been such a blessing. And so, with us going through those changes, then with us receiving the diagnosis of my son, and with also us being called to plant a brand new church here in Miami, Florida, um, our schedules got really crazy. Everything kind of just, to me, it feels like the Lord literally just flipped me over and back a million times and shook me and made me just let go of those things that I was holding on to that were no longer serving me and that no longer were going to serve me or serve his purpose in this new season of our lives. Later on, if you want to know more in depth of exactly what I'm talking about, or more in depth of that thing that we had to let go of, or more in depth of our journey with my son with autism, let me know. Leave a comment, let me know, and I will be more than happy to share more about that with you. Okay, so my number one reason, well, it's not really my number one. These are all good reasons, or like I'm not really numbering them in order of priority. I'm just numbering them out. Okay, so my first reason was I wanted to bring them into a safe and nurturing environment without negative peer influences and bullying. One of the things that I began to see while they were in the public school system, while they were in their public school, was just the growth of negative peer influences and bullying. Bullying with friends around them, and even with my oldest daughter experienced this as well. And I'm not gonna say exactly what happened just to protect her, but she definitely had that experience, and that to me was the last straw. And I decided that I no longer wanted them to be in a unsafe environment. And if I had the opportunity to be home, then why not have them home with me? Number two, I wanted them to have a Christ-centered education. If you see me looking down, it's because I have everything written here, okay? So number two, Christ-centered education. I didn't like the curriculum being used in the public school, nor the fact that the school decided, or the system, the state education system decided what they were going to teach my children, my daughters, and when they were going to teach them certain topics, such as sexual education. My one time I received a notice for my fourth grader when she was in third grade that they were going to be giving a sex education, is a sex ed course or a sex ed class during her school, during her school time. And I was completely appalled. First of all, I understand the times that we're living in and how things are more advanced now than they were, let's say, in my time. But I still think that parents have a say, or should have a say, in what their children are learning in school or not. And of course, it's not the case. It's not the case. So I did speak to the teacher, and I kind of asked a bunch of questions, and I made sure that they weren't going to say anything that was over the top. Okay? That it was not, that it was something that was over the top. So I wanted them to have a Christ-centered education. I didn't like the curriculum being used. I didn't like the fact that the schools and the teachers were deciding when to teach my daughters certain topics that I felt were topics that needed to be reserved for the parents to speak to them about. Number 3, I wanted to take control back from the education system and make sure that my children were learning appropriately. After all, I will be responsible for them before the Lord. When I say I wanted to take control back from the education system, it's not that the education system has a control over my children, but they do have a huge influence. I mean, our children are in the hands of people who are teaching curriculums that are decided on by people in position of authority in government that don't know who these children are. They are teaching them what they want the students to know for whatever reason that they have. And I simply wanted to take back that control. And not that I am in control, the Lord is in control of my children's life, but I wanted to bring them into an environment that was safe for them to receive and to learn the things that God wants them to learn, and the things that are appropriate for them to learn according to their age and according to how I feel led to bring them up in. Number 4, I wanted them to have a tailored education. One thing that I did when I pulled out my daughters from, well, actually, I did this before. Before I pulled them out from their school, I did an assessment on them because I wanted to know what level they were at. I knew that they were not doing well in their grades. They were being affected, and I knew that they had some gaps in their education. I decided to give them an assessment. I did 2 different types of assessments on them, one for language arts and one for math. And in one of my daughters, her language arts assessment came very, very low. She was in 4th grade and she was testing at approximately a 2nd grade level. My other daughter's assessment in math came out very low. Her assessment in math came out also to a 2nd grade level. And that concerns me. It concerns me that my daughters were testing at a lower level than what they needed to test in. And also, just another disclaimer. I feel like I'm just going to be shooting out disclaimers here and there, but when we homeschool, we don't homeschool to keep them in a grade level, okay? We homeschool to meet them at the level that they are at and help them grow from there and help them mature from there and grow in knowledge, okay? So it's not just to keep them at a grade level, because you can have somebody who excels in a certain subject to a certain grade level, but in another one struggles, and that's completely okay. My children are the same way. So I wanted to give them a tailored education. I wanted to find a curriculum that will benefit them and help them, and tailor it to their needs. Number 5, like I said before, I think I started with this one, is that I wanted to bring them home. I wanted to spend more time together as a family. We were going through some drastic changes in our lives and we needed to stick together. There's more reasons now that I would add for the reason why I will continue to homeschooling, but my main reasons are these. Number 1, I wanted them to be in a safe environment without negative peer pressure and bullying. Number 2, I wanted them to have a Christ-centered education. An education that focused on the Lord and that allowed me the opportunity to teach them appropriately according to their age and according to the principles and the morals in which our family is based on. Number 3, I wanted to take control back as a mother of my children's education, simply because at the end of the day, when we all will face the Lord, I want to be able to give a good report. And number 4, I wanted to give them a tailored education, an education that was specifically tailored to their need and that would meet them where they were at and help them excel in their giftings and their talents and help them grow in knowledge in the areas where they needed to grow in. And number 5, I wanted to bring them home. I wanted to spend time together, more family time together, and have time freedom to go and vacation and go and not have to give a teacher or a principal or an assistant and a reason for why I wanted to take my daughters out of school for a whole week. And I just wanted to have that freedom, have them home, give them what they need, and help them grow in the ways of the Lord. That's it for now. That's it for today. I hope that you were blessed, and that as you are figuring out your whys and the reason behind why you want to homeschool your children, that you remember the Lord is in control. And if He is putting that desire in your heart to homeschool your children, don't ignore it. The Holy Spirit speaks to us as moms because we have that calling to mother our children. And if you feel that nudge in your spirit, answer it. You will be surprised to see how the Lord is going to bless you and your family and bless your home. It will be a challenge, but don't give up. Continue to serve the Lord in this way as a mother, and you will see how He is just going to blow your mind. So thank you once again for watching today's video. Stay tuned for my next video, and thank you. Like and subscribe. Bye, friends.